Welcome back to Inkedin, your source for business casual Lorcana. Let's start off with Honeymarin.
I actually think that Honeymarin is really good for like a common. She's just like an inkable 2-drop. Her stats are like fine, like she dies to Storm or whatever, and she only quests for 1. But if you're on the draw, I think you want Honeymarin.
Right, like I'm playing against you, I go first. I put down my Daisy, you put down whatever 1-drop. Next turn, I'm questing against almost any 1-drop in the game. And then you put down Honeymarin, you get a free lore. That's solid.
Yeah, that's just like decent, right? The other 2-drops in purple are more dependent on what the other color is. Because if you're playing like purple steel, you want like Smee. If you're playing Blurple, you'll want like Tipo or something. Like there isn't really just a solid purple 2-drop that isn't Mim Snake. Honeymarin is just like something that makes that slot good, because otherwise you're just playing like a bunch of 1-drops. And she's kind of like a baby goat. Like she's pretty good in the late game if you need her.
Right, I was gonna say with like the bounce package, it's like you can get infinite value out of the gain 1 lore. So even if you just have her in your hand late in the game, it is the same kind of thing as like you're at 19 lore and your opponent's like, hope he doesn't have a goat, but you can now have a goat and a Honeymarin and a White Rose.
Right, and bringing up White Rose is interesting too, because like I can see the argument that White Rose is just like better Honeymarin, but this costs 1 less, and I think that's a huge difference. Sapphire Coil, 2-drop inkable item. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you can give a chosen character -2 strength this turn. It's weird, right? Because it's a 2-drop, and when you're playing blue, you want your turn 2 to be ramp, like 90% of the time. However, you don't want Ice Block turn 1 most of the time. You want Popsicle.
Yeah, I think it being inkable just makes it replace Ice Block. Ice Block is annoying to get early, and once you get it late, it doesn't matter that it's 1 or 2. You've already ramped, you're good. You have enough ink to play stuff. And also, let's not overlook the fact that it's whenever a card is put into your inkwell. Not the first time, not once per turn. You could do it multiple times.
Yeah, in blue.
Right. You throw down a Tipo, you throw down a Stacy, you're getting -2, -2, -2. You can kill 3 things with your Sisu. Like, I mean, that's crazy. Having 2 of these down?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. Having more than 1 of these is just horrible.
Dude, you put 2 of them down, and then you take someone's 6 strength character and kill it with Sisu. I think they forfeit instantly. I do think that this card should have been uninkable. Making it inkable is crazy, and it's just gonna be better Ice Block.
It might still not completely replace Ice Block. It might be played alongside it, to be honest.
For me personally, if I'm making a blue deck, I'm not putting Ice Block in it. I'm putting 4 copies of Sapphire Coil, and I'm being really happy that I have more uninkable slots that I can put not Ice Block in.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Troubadour, 2-drop inkable, 1/3, quest for 1. He's got resist 1 and he sings for 4. He's just the better Vanessa.
I love him.
He's better Vanessa. He's more based. He's just awesome. I don't think we need to talk about this card very much, to be honest. I'm pretty sure everyone could just see how this card is good. It's literally just Vanessa with resist. Like the 1 less health doesn't matter. It's just good. There's nothing to be said. Like if Vanessa is gone, Troubadour is in. This card, I think, is actually super interesting. Show me more. 2-drop uninkable action. Not a song, but both players draw 3 cards. I think that it's strong as a 2-drop because Hyper Aggro loves to draw cards, and they don't really care if you're drawing cards. And only for Hyper Aggro. I don't think I would play this in Blurple. I don't think I would play this in, like, Amethyst Steel. Anything Amethyst that, like, isn't constantly just slamming 1-drops down, I wouldn't play this.
Right.
But since a lot of, like, yellow-purple Hyper Aggro already runs, like, Amethyst Chromicon, this is just instant Amethyst Chromicon. It being uninkable is interesting to me because Hyper Aggro already suffers from the uninkable problem. You have Lilo, Daisy, Maleficent. I don't know if there's room for this card, but if there could be, I think it would be great in the deck.
If it was inkable, I think it would just be 4 in every Hyper Aggro. So it makes sense. I think John Lorcana, when he's creating the game, he's like, this card's going to be really good in Hyper Aggro, but it's going to take up an uninkable slot, which are already hard to come by. So it's
exactly.
You know, that's just good game design.
Yeah, we're talking about yellow-purple, but it could be something more interesting. Like green-purple could probably run this and drop a couple uninkables in place of it. You know, it might not just be yellow-purple, which already suffers from the uninkable problem.
Does green-purple Hyper Aggro have any discard usually?
Sometimes. It kind of depends on the list. Like you have Cursed Merfolk, and it's more like preference. I mean, obviously you have Ursula. So if you're playing against like Steel Song or something, Ursula kind of counts. This might even make like some more niche discard cards like a little more playable.
Right, because it's like if you draw 3 cards, they draw 3 cards, but then you're immediately getting value from them discarding more cards. There's definitely something there.
I just think that this card drawing 3 is so disgusting.
3 is a lot. They couldn't even put 3 on the card that the song says take 3 cards.
But yeah, this card will be interesting to see. I'm not sure if it's the strongest card ever, but I think it's at least worth talking about. Oh yeah, Ink Geyser, baby. I think that Ink Geyser got like everybody excited when they saw it come out. Ink Geyser, 3-drop, uninkable action. Each player exerts all the cards in their inkwell. Then each player with more than 3 cards in their inkwell returns cards at random from their inkwell to their hand until they have 3 cards. So basically you play it, everyone has 3 cards in their inkwell, all the rest of your cards go to your hand. This is the most Magic the Gathering card that this game has ever seen.
100%. I do love all the cards that are like dipping into our inkwells. Now you can ink something, and then all of a sudden it's like it's not just dead anymore, which is cool because it's like you're playing Baja Blast and you're like, oh man, I gotta ink my big Clarabelle. That sucks. I really hope that I draw into another one. Even if you don't draw into another one, now you have this Ink Geyser where you're not guaranteed to get the Clarabelle, but it gives you a couple more chances to get that Clarabelle back. And it doesn't feel as bad in the early game to ink stuff if you're like, I know I'm just gonna play Ink Geyser. Hope it's not one of the 3 cards.
Ink Geyser is probably one of the most interesting from this set. Because it's dueling to Baja, which is cool. Green-blue Baja Blast is really fun. And there's a lot of like really cool combos you could do with Clarabelle. You might even be able to cheap into my will at some point. It's interesting that it could be like that. But I also know that there is an angle where we could see some sort of really weird green-blue hyper aggro where Ink Geyser is just a card that draws the cards from your inkwell and you can play them again. Like this card is just green-blue hyper aggro card draw. I'm excited to see if this card sees a lot of play.
It's a really cool card to add to an already fun deck. It just seems fun to play.
Lady, 5-drop uninkable 4/4, quest for 2 and can shift out for 3. When you play this character, you may return 2 character cards with cost 2 or less from your discard to your hand. I think she's awesome. Lemon Lime Hyper Aggro has been like, it kind of crept into set 6 with that like you came back shenanigans.
Yeah,
right?
With the old Lilo plus Piglet plus Olivia Flaversham plus you came back plus good job. It's a fun deck. Sometimes you just win on like turn 5 and it's awesome. I do think that this card could put green-yellow up there with yellow-purple because green has like enough questers that are fast. The problem before was that they just didn't have like card draw and recursion, but this gives it at least something. My next question for your encyclopedic knowledge is there a good Lady card in yellow or green to shift onto? So Lady's like brand new. Lady and the Tramp is completely new. Right. I'm not sure you would be using the Lady card to shift into this. She's probably just better off as a 5-drop, honestly. So you think even as an uninkable 5-drop, she's still gonna be good enough to run? I do think so. It'll be at a point in the game where you're running out of cards. That's when you play her. She'll be used kind of like Doc, like a yellow-green Doc. I think this being like your almost like the equivalent of like the 7 or 8 drop in like a normal deck, big card that like really helps you finish off a game. It could be that for a hyper aggro deck. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's a little unfortunate that like the yellow-green Doc variant just had to be 5. Because I mean, this is just Doc. But I do agree that like just as it being just a game ender, it's fine. It's good enough. Like you can be 5. Hopefully Lady gets play. I'm not sure if Lemon Lime will be super hot this set, but it could be because of this card. Shere Khan. I personally am super excited by Shere Khan. I think he's awesome. He's a 4-drop, uninkable 4/4 that quests for 4. A lot of 4s on there. Caveat, when you play Shere Khan, you discard your hand. Why do I like this card? Clarabelle is awesome. This is Clarabelle's favorite card. And I think Baja Blast is getting so much cool support this set. You're doing all these things, you're bouncing all these cards off of your opponent's board, and like, yeah, you're doing a lot, you're drawing a lot of cards, but you're not winning. Like, you're just being annoying. Shere Khan wins the game. Shere Khan is what you use to push you past that threshold and start questing really fast. Because Baja doesn't have a lot that quest for much. The Muses don't quest for much. Clarabelle quests for 2, but you don't want to exert her. You want to keep her alive. So Shere Khan just gives you that win con, and it's really good. I mean, it's Shere Khan win con. And I think the downside is so negligible. If you're playing Baja Blast, you have ways to get cards. You've got Flavors, you've got Clarabelles, you've got Popsicles. You'll get there. I totally agree. I think he's always worth signing. Now, like, the interesting conversation is he dies to Zeus. It depends on how much Zeus is going to be coming out. I will say playing Shere Khan is a big commitment if you don't already have Clarabelle down. And if he dies, it's going to feel bad. Yes, 100%. And also, now that Sapphire Coil is a card, he also dies to Brawl if you get Sapphire Coil, which also sucks. Which is something else that we should have probably talked about earlier with Sapphire Coil, is that enables Brawl to kill so many things. So it's
You know, an unfortunate thing that steel kind of hurts and red kind of hurts, or blue-red specifically, I guess. I do think if you're going to be playing Baja Blast, you probably add him anyways, just because the risk is good enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you need him. I don't think he goes in any other green archetype, to be honest. You probably don't run him in green-yellow, probably don't run him in green-purple.
The only situation I could see him being running green-purple is if you really want to make that Kronk card work, where he just doesn't let you discard cards. Then you're just playing a free 4 cost that has 4/4/4.
That's true, yeah. If you really want to do the Kronk card, because I know the Yzma card also has some synergy with Kronk. If that's your jam, you probably throw him in there, sure. I do think that's a lot of setup just to get your con down, but if you're running Kronk anyways, might as well throw him in. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's solid.
7 out of 10 Flavershams.
Gantu. I love this card. 4-drop uninkable, 2/4. When you play him, characters cannot exert to sing songs until the start of your next turn. A little bit of a downside because you can't sing songs either, but I don't think you're going to be singing songs if you're playing Gantu, right?
You can also just sing your songs, then play it.
Yeah, that's true as well. Each player pays 2 ink more to play actions or items while he's down. I think it's really significant. So Gantu with Pete being in the same colors is crazy. If you're playing against blue-red, that's your matchup. Usually you want to play Pete turn 6 to avoid the B-prep, right? Hope you get bounced. Now you can Gantu on turn 6, still have B-prep immunity because nothing can sing it at this ink interval. Then they can't play it because they have to pay 2 more as long as he's around. So if they, the next turn, don't play anything that can sing it and you can't remove it, you have another turn of B-prep immunity as long as they don't ramp. And then if Gantu's effect becomes not important anymore, you can play Pete and you have another turn of B-prep immunity. And if you play him in Amethyst Purple, you bounce that and keep repeating that, it's really strong.
I do think this is going to be a really good card.
Gantu's probably like my favorite steel card that I've seen from this set. He made me want to play Amethyst Steel this set. Think about the implications of like actions or items, right? Who wants to pay 3 for Popsicle? And if you want to remove him, Brawl costs 5 now. I love this card. I'm so in love with this card. I can't wait to play this card. Faju. He's a 3-drop inkable 2/3 quest for 1. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, if that's the second challenge this turn, you gain 3 lore.
Pretty cool. Got a lot of synergy with all the different challenging characters. You got your Sherwoods, you got your Calhouns, you got your Mushus. It's a scary card if you can get like a couple other cards down.
Yeah, I big time agree. I mean, like Calhoun getting 5 lore on a challenge or Sherwood either, it's just disgusting. Yeah, I think that Calhoun specifically is going to be really strong with Faju because he's 3-drop. Calhoun is 2. So if you're playing, you know, ideal, you have a 1-drop, you have your Calhoun, and then you have this guy comes down next. If your opponent quested with anything, like a Tipo or something, they just quested with their Tipo, and they're like, oh, whatever, I'll let Calhoun kill it for whatever reason. Calhoun can somehow kill Tipo. That's free 5 lore. I think that if the red steel challenge deck that everybody's excited about becomes good, it's probably not going to be because of Mushu. It's probably going to be because of this card. It's fair that it has to be the second challenge, and like I can see why that might be a hindrance. But if you're playing it in any color, like you probably have a 1-drop that you can afford to crash. I even think it would be worth it to play like a big 1-drop with a lot of health that does like 1 damage and nothing else just to get the Faju proc. Because in a way, it's questing for 3. If I were to play Faju, I would probably throw him in the Amethyst Steel deck, and you can crash your Diablo for card draw. I think there's a lot of ways to make him work, and it's worth it. Because, you know, yeah, oh no, I'm exerting another character. You're exerting another character to gain 3 lore.
I was going to point out the 1-drop Diablo that just, you do 0 damage, but it counts as a challenge. I mean, that's like the perfect card for Faju.
Literally the perfect card.
That's crazy.
But we got to talk about Mushu because he's awesome. he's so cool. 5-drop inkable, 4/4 quest for 1. Whenever one of your characters challenges, they gain resist 2. And during your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore.
I am not looking forward to someone having Mushu, Fazu, and Calhoun down, challenging me with resist 3, and then gaining, what, 7 lore?
Yeah, 7 lore if they kill it.
That's going to be fun.
I think that the scariest part about this deck is that it's in colors that can run One Last Hope. They can run Pick a Fight, and they don't care about whether or not your characters are exerted. They can just kill you. So, I mean, we'll probably make a video on this deck at some point. I'm excited to see Mushu. I hope that he's fantastic. I hope this deck is fantastic. I hope that it knocks out, you know, the annoying decks. I hope that Diggy Diggy Hole dies in a hole. I mean, that pretty much wraps up the main cards we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, we got our honorable mentions.
Lady Kluck. I love her, dude. 5-drop, 2/7 bodyguard of ward. She's just so cool.
Yeah, might be my favorite overall card that they made. Art, theming, gameplay, like everything about it is just a cool card.
She's just so great. Like, she's probably one of my favorite characters in Robin Hood's. I'm so glad she got a card. I'm so glad that it's awesome. That's Lady Kluck. I think she's awesome. Tamatoa, 6-drop inkable. He's happy as a clam. He's a 4/5, 2 quester. When you play him, you bring 2 item cards back from your discard. Whenever he quests, he gets to play a free item. What do you think?
I don't know. When I saw this card, I immediately just read it and thought, I like the other Tamatoa better.
Yeah, I definitely thought the same thing. I know that he's a 6-drop, so it's like kind of cool that you can get back your like dead popsicles and put them back to your hand. The other Tamatoa probably just is better. You could play them both. You could play new Tamatoa and old Tamatoa, and just to make old Tamatoa quest for way more. I can see that. Honestly, overall, this set has been crazy. Like, they've released a lot of things. There's a million cards that we didn't talk about that I'm still excited for and that I still think are crazy and can do like a lot of things and are potentially super powerful. It's really difficult to see where the meta is shifting to, other than the fact that I know blue-red is still going to be around.